Hey y'all! I hope you had the most wonderful spring break. I cannot wait to hear all about it tomorrow. Before we get into the math portion of this video, I was going to give you a little recap of my amazing spring break. Remember, here we'll start with this little video. We took Mr. Calamaris on a whale watching tour, and this is how we spent the tour, playing peekaboo. There were no whales to be watched, unfortunately. There was a lot of water, and I was stuck on a boat with two toddlers for 2 hours. And one of my toddlers really enjoyed it. You can see him here in the yellow boots. He was playing peekaboo, and he was just cracking himself up. And this was the highlight of the boat tour. My other child was passed out with Mr. Calamaris, not feeling so hot. Mr. Calamaris is trying to pretend like he's having a great time because he felt really bad. This is George's reaction after the boat tour when I told him that indeed there would be no whale sightings today. He was not excited at all. Here, in the next picture, I just wanted to mourn the loss of this gorgeous ivory sweater that I'm wearing. My sweater, unfortunately, had to be thrown out in the garbage on the ferry because Cal threw up all over it and I had to use it as a mop. Humiliating. So sad. Cal and Georgie both got so sick during this week, you guys, you all, with high fevers and lots of bodily fluids. This was cute, though. Cal! Where is he? So cute. While this video was being taken, Cal had actually made a diarrhea river down the hallway. His diaper leaked, and it was a horrible mess. Horrible mess. In this video, I thought it would be a great idea to make cookies. And I had Georgie up on the counter, and we were making cookies. They were starting to feel better, living our best lives. And then I went to go scoop some of the cookie dough off the counter, and guess what? It wasn't cookie dough. It was poop. So I just abandoned the kitchen and gave them baths for like, I don't know, an hour probably. We started watching TV in the bath via a tablet. Never thought I'd do that my whole life. That was definitely real low point. The only thing that would make Cal happy during these dark days of this week was this.
Yeah.
Ready? This is his new favorite. This would give him comfort. Ponytail tickle. I need that sweet laugh. But I'm happy to report that we're feeling better. I thankfully never got sick. Mr. Calamaris did. Oh yeah, by the way, Mr. Calamaris was out of town, and I'm left with these animals all by myself. I thankfully didn't get sick. We were cooped up in the house all week, but today was the first day we were able to get out, take a hike, which was wonderful just to be outside. And we were able to throw rocks in water, which is something we really love to do in our family. And it was precious, and I think we're all ready just to move forward in good health. Mr. Calamaris is still kind of sick, but I think he'll work through it. So I miss you guys and girls. I am so excited to get this week going. Let's take a look at... Okay, 5th graders, I don't think I mentioned in my long intro that we are doing I think I mentioned that we're doing lesson 29, but I don't think I mentioned what we are doing in lesson 29. In lesson 29, we are, Cal is helping me, and he is Mama's big helper. You want to say hi to all the kiddos?
When is Cal's turn?
Not Cal's turn yet. First Mommy's turn, and then Cal's turn, okay? Do you want to say hi to all the kiddos in Mathland?
No.
Okay, does not want to say hi. So what I did not mention is that in this lesson we're going to be dividing not only whole numbers, but numbers that have decimals we're going to be dividing them by decimals. Specifically, we're just working on dividing these numbers by tenths or hundredths. So let's look at this first one here. We have 5 divided by 1 tenth. We know that 1/10 comes in 2 forms. We can look at it in decimal form, or we can look at it in fraction form. I'll have to do that after the video, okay? Okay, babe. So I just want, this is very supported here. So let's just think about this one step at a time. Let's think about how many, there are blank tenths in one whole. Well, we know that there are 10 tenths in one whole. And we can think about that like this. If we had one whole on the place value chart, we know that we can rename one whole as 10 tenths. Okay? So let's also think about 5 wholes. There are blank tenths and 5 wholes. Well, I can actually rename 5 wholes, my friends, as 50 tenths. So here we're thinking about, you guys, just like we were right before spring break, we're thinking about how many tenths fit inside 5 wholes. Another way we can look at it, watch this, Cal. Watch this, Cal. This is super cool. Another way we can look at it is by just checking out a tape diagram. So this rectangle represents 5 wholes. You all know that 5 wholes is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual pieces. Cal, please don't do that, honey. And if I were to break one of my holes into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and if I were to do that, Cal, you can't do that. If I were to, sorry, I just want to grab another color.
Mommy, I want to tell her. Reason me that how to.
You're going to have your turn right after Mom is finished with that.
No, reason I want to make a house.
You want to make a house? Okay, we can make a house right after this. So if we were to slice each of our individual units into tenths, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of 10, which is 50 tenths. Cool. So we're just going to use all of these different amazing...
Mama, I want to wind up black.
You want to... Oh, okay. Cal wants to use black for the next color. That one, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're just going to use our place value understanding and our tape diagram to support our work in this lesson. So let's look at this one, you guys. We have 8, or you all, we have 8 divided by 110. You're welcome, buddy. So that also looks like, uh-oh, Mama pressed the button. Oh dear. That's bad news, Cal. See, I still don't know how to unpress the button. Oh, goodness. Okay, hold on. Okay, this also looks like 8 divided by...
Ma, I did it a fader.
10th. So let's think about, there are blank tenths in one whole. You did.
I did it.
You did. There are 10 tenths in one whole. There are how many tenths in 8 wholes? Well, let's think about that. Let's think about if we were to look at 8 tenths on the place value chart. We can rename 8 tenths as...
I did it.
Cal, please don't do that, sweetie. That's not helping. There are 80
Please,
tenths in 8
I
wholes.
did it.
I know. You need to be Mama's helper and just watch, okay? So let's just look at this quickly on a tape diagram. If we were to draw a rectangle, that represents 8 whole units. That's what this rectangle represents, 8 whole units. We're going to chop it into 8 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What color do you want next, Cal?
I want to white. Orange.
Orange?
Yeah, orange.
Oh, that's a good choice. If we were to chop each of these individual units, friends, into 10 slices, which would be tenths, you're welcome. Again, this is one whole. So one whole sliced into 10 equal pieces would mean that there's 1/10 in each piece, or 1/10. So if I were to take my very precious time and slice each of these individual pieces into 10 tenths, hold on a second, Cal, let's go. I love you too, baby. We would have, let's count together, Cal. We would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 copies of 10, which is equal to 80 tenths. Super cool, huh? Cal, what color should we use next?
What's it? Fruit.
What color, baby? You want to use blue?
No blue.
Do you want to use green?
Yeah, green.
Okay, so let's look at this next piece. Fifth graders, we have 5.2 divided by 1/10. So we're going to write that just so we can look at it
find
clearly.
the green.
This is green, honey. 5.2
I'll find it.
divided by 1/10.
I find me the green.
You want this green? That green?
No.
Okay, let's use the green that is cool. That's a good green. 5.2 divided by 1/10. Again, we can always use our tape models. We can always use our place value understanding. Let's try to break this down to fill in the blanks. So there are blank tenths and 5 wholes. Well, we answered this right above there, so I hope everyone's comfortable with the fact that there's 50 tenths and 5 wholes. Next, there are blank tenths and 2 tenths. Really? There are 2 tenths and 2 tenths. Don't overthink that. And then for this last piece, you guys and girls, what we're doing is adding up these two numbers. Now we're thinking about how many tenths are in 5.2. Well, it's 50 plus 2, so that's going to be 52. So here what we're doing in these first 2 lines, friends, is decomposing. I hope that this is making a little bit more sense as we go through these problems. Let's look at 8.7 divided by 1/10. Again, that can also look like 8.7 divided by fraction form 1/10. Okay, so there are blank tenths and 8 wholes. If we were to rename 8 wholes, oh, we have that up here. If we were to rename 8 wholes as only tenths, we could rename that as 80 tenths and 8 wholes. Well, and then here's the giveaway. There are blank tenths and 7 tenths. Don't overthink this one. There are 7 tenths and 7 tenths. And then for this final blank, friends, we're adding up 80 plus 7 to get 87, which reveals that there are 87 tenths in 8.7. And that makes all the sense in the world, because if we were to look at 8.7 on a place value chart, you could see that we could rename this whole number as 87 tenths, because the 7 is in the tenths place value. Super cool. I'm going to grab another color for these final 2. And here we're looking at 5 divided by 100th. So we have 5 divided by 100th. So now our place value has changed slightly. So let's think about how many hundredths are in one whole. If we were to put 1 whole on the place value chart, and now we're looking at our hundredths place value, there are 100 hundredths in 1 whole. You guys know that because we can rename 1 whole as 100 hundredths. That's just a fancy way of saying 1 whole. There are how many hundredths in 5 wholes? Let's think about the place value chart. If we had 5 wholes and we wanted to rename that number in the hundredths place value, you can see that we can rename that as 500 hundredths in 5 wholes. Super, super cool. Let's take a look at one more before Cal runs back in here. I'll take this color. Here we're looking at 8 divided by 100th. So that's 8 divided by 100th. And our first blank we're looking at, there are blank hundredths in 1 whole. Well, you all know that there are 100 hundredths in 1 whole. How many hundredths in 8 wholes? Well,
I put it a party.
Oh, great job, buddy. That's awesome, Cal. There are 8 hundredths.
What was that?
George Mama's recording. George Mama's recording.
It's okay. I'm just about finished. Here is, oh, I got it. Okay. So we will work on this tomorrow. I was going to do,
It's Cal's turn.
It's Cal's turn. I was going to do a word problem, but I hope that this makes some good sense to you. If this is seeming, ooh, careful with that. If this is seeming really tricky, can you just rewind and watch this part one more time? Georgie. Everyone needs to come in tomorrow prepared to practice this, and I can't wait to see you all in the morning. Bye for now.